What's going on, lads? Today I'm going to be taking you guys through a workout, and then I'm going to be sharing with you a couple tips for if you're trying to lose weight. Diet tips mainly, because for the people who have more experience when it comes to lifting or working out, we understand that at the end of the day it's about calories in, calories out. There's easier ways to do that and there's harder ways to do that. So I'm going to be sharing with you my experience on how it has been easiest to keep my weight under control, because I don't know if you guys know, but I used to be severely obese. I was about 5'4", 200 pounds in high school, and now I'm 5'11" and about 170. I haven't weighed myself in a while, but I'm pretty sure that's where I'm at. But anyways, let's get into the workout. It's gonna be calisthenics only. First things first, always gotta throw in a lip. Right here, got the 6 milli Rogue Berry. I prefer the Winnie the Pooh's, aka the wintergreen, but had to try these out. But in all seriousness, after throwing in the upper decky, first thing we're going to be getting into is arm circles. 7, 8, 9, 10, go back. The next thing that we're going to be getting into is our wrist prep. So if you've done any calisthenics, you understand that if you're on your hands a bunch and your wrists, whether you're doing handstands or push-ups, after you do enough of them, your wrists start to get tight, your forearms start to get tight. Over a long period of time, it can lead to an injury. So what we do is we warm them up so that way it doesn't happen. What I like to do, I like to take my hands like this, just roll my wrists out. Almost like a, figure 8, figure 4? I forget what you call this. You do that for about 10, 20 seconds. Another one, it's almost like you're about to pray, but then you go upside down, pull upwards and push in, so that way it stretches your wrist out like this. You just hold that for about 10 seconds. Now very similar, only difference is we're gonna flip our hands in like this and push directly in and push a little bit down almost. This gets the back side of the wrist. I like this one a lot. We're gonna go for about 10 seconds again. Next thing, since today's upper body, we're gonna start off with some shoulder rolls. About 10%. You want to kind of squeeze at the top as well. Now we're going to go back. Alright, so the next thing that we're going to do is scapular push-ups. So normally with a push-up, you will go all the way down and all the way up. But with these, you're keeping your arms straight and you're just dropping your chest down, and you can feel this in your scapulas, which is on your shoulder blades, and you raise back up. That's one. We're going to go for 10. You want to make sure that you're squeezing your core, squeezing your glutes. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So after the warm-up, I like to get into a little skill work. Today I'm going to be working a little bit on my handstand. I haven't quite gotten it off the wall yet, but I'm getting there. Eventually I'm going to be doing handstand push-ups. You guys can follow along. Eventually you'll see it. Then I'm also going to be working on tiger bend push-ups. If you don't know what those are, I'll show you them in a bit. They look really cool. They are not as hard as they look. So the first thing that I'm going to be getting into is a handstand on the wall. I'm going to be working on trying to get my feet to come off the wall, so that way I can eventually progress into doing a freestanding handstand. So I'm going to go ahead and get this started for you guys. You guys can watch along. So what you want to do is you want to have your hands out like this. You're going to put them about 4 to 6 inches away from the wall, so that way when you kick up, you are directly stacked. So you're going to get right here, and you're going to get into almost like a, I don't know what you would call this, a sprinter stance. And then kick up. And you want to look directly down at the ground so that you stay stacked. And you want to push into the ground with your fingertips to push yourself backwards, and with your palm to push yourself forward. And you're going to learn how to balance those out so that you can go and just freestand in a handstand. Now we're going to hold this for about 30 seconds. You want to point your toes and keep your whole body straight. Squeeze your glutes. When you kick down into the handstand, you bring one hand over and slide your leg over and catch yourself like this, because if you come down directly straight, you could land on your knees or land on your foot in the wrong way and twist your ankle. Either way, it can go very bad. But the next thing that we're going to be getting into is the tiger bend push-ups. I'll show you that. So for the tiger bend push-up, instead of a normal push-up, where you would just go down and back up, and this one, scoot forward a little bit. You go down, you push yourself back so your elbows are flat on the ground, then you come forward, push up. We're going to go for 7 more. One more. So we are going to repeat both of those skill exercises for about 3 sets, and then we are going to get into the main strength and conditioning workout. Now I understand for a lot of people this might be difficult because time restraints, maybe you only have 15 to 30 minutes. This doesn't take that long, but making a video about it takes a little bit longer. This takes maybe 30 minutes if you're not really resting. But if you're newer to the gym, you can always message me personally on Instagram at Zane Douglas. I think there's 40s. I don't know. I'll have to look later and I'll leave it in the description. But you can hit me up and ask about progressions or possibly workouts that might work for you based off of where you are in your journey. Alright lads, so I just finished 2 more rounds of the skill work, and I'm going to be taking you guys through the strength workout. So first I'm going to be starting off with dips. You can also do push-ups or tiger bend push-ups again if you'd rather work on those, or if dips are too hard on your shoulders or triceps or elbows, because I know a lot of people have tightness right here and you don't want to get injured. But on the dips, when you're coming down, if you choose to do dips, you want to come down all the way before you go back up. If your dip bar is a little bit close to the ground like mine is, it is perfectly okay to bend your legs. Preferably don't cross them because it takes core activation out, but you still can if that makes it better for you, because it is personalized. But if you have the choice and the ability to do so, I would recommend keeping your legs straight and your toes pointed out. That way it has the most core activation and it'll be the most difficult. So let's go for 6 to 10 reps. Slow and controlled on the descent, fast on the eccentric. Another thing to keep in mind when you're doing dips, the further you lean forward, the more chest activation you'll get. The further you lean backwards, the more tricep activation that you'll get, and the more shoulders you'll involve. Also, if you keep it more like this, instead of leaning forward, it is a lot harder on your shoulders, and that's what leads to injuries for most people when it comes to dips. But anyways, on to the next thing. All right, the next thing that I'm gonna be getting into is called pseudo planche push-ups. So the further on progression that a lot of you may have seen people doing, whether it be in clips or on YouTube or Instagram, wherever you saw it, they will have their hands down by their waist, their whole body will be off the ground, and they will be doing push-ups. 99% of people cannot do that. Most will never be able to do that. I am personally working towards it. And one of the first progressions, you bring your hands down by your side, you're up on your toes, curl your back, keep your core tight, almost like you're gonna do the planche, but then you just lean down and do a push-up. We're gonna go for 6 to 10 reps again. Alright lads, so the last thing that we're gonna be getting into is called a seated L-sit. You can do this on the ground, you can do it on a dip bar, or you can do it on a pull-up bar if you want to do a hanging L-sit. I'm personally working towards being able to do it on a dip bar right now. The one on the pull-up bar, in my opinion, is the easiest. What you want to do for this, be straight, your legs up, and hold. You want to hold for as long as you can until you start to feel the burn in your core or in your hip flexors. And then once you're done with that, you're going to repeat this circuit about 2 more times. And that'll be the end of the workout. I'm going to finish up with the workout, go get showered up, and then I will give you guys some tips for fat loss and diet. Well lads, I just finished up in the shower. Got me feeling a little bit thirsty because that shower was so steamy and hot, just the way that I like it. But now I'm feeling thirsty, so I gotta go get some water, which actually brings me to my first point. Make sure that you are hydrated. If you are not hydrated, it makes every other aspect of losing weight harder. You don't perform as well in workouts. You don't sleep as well. You get hungrier. And most importantly, you retain more water. I know it seems counterintuitive, because you would think if you drink more water, you're gonna carry more water weight, but it's actually the opposite because it flushes out all the carbs in your system, all the sugar, it debloats you. I personally drink about 2 gallons of water a day. I have this thing, I drink a gallon before lunch since I'm up at 3:30, and I usually drink about a gallon after. Sometimes it's a little bit less, sometimes it's a little bit more. But if you are not drinking water, you're never gonna really know where your body weight is at. You might not actually be as overweight as you think. You could just be carrying a ton of water weight. Or you could think that it's just water weight and you're actually carrying more body fat than you think, and you aren't actually carrying a bunch of water weight. You just eat too much. But we're gonna be getting into some more tips here in a bit. So first of all, look at that beautiful sunset. Second of all, bringing us into our second weight loss tip. There's no avoiding it, you gotta move more. Now, the biggest misconception with that is a lot of people think working out, you gotta go be at the gym for an hour or 2 hours a day. I'm gonna be straight up with you, I work out maybe 15 to 30 minutes a day because I'm working 15 hours a day. I don't have time to work out a lot. I come home, I have kids, it's an hour commute to and from work. So it's not very realistic for me to be wanting to work out 2-3 hours a day. So what I do is I just move more. I got a job that keeps me more active. Since I'm building planes, I'm walking around all day. I don't really have to do cardio. All I have to do is my calisthenics workout or weightlifting or whatever I'm doing that day. And if I don't get to it, at least I know I'm moving around, burning calories that otherwise I wouldn't, which assists with fat loss. And also, if you go on runs, your appetite is gonna ramp up, whereas if you are just more active throughout the day, your appetite is gonna be fine. So the third tip that I've got for you guys is just make better choices in the kitchen. So instead of like a normal tortilla for a quesadilla or a burrito or a taco, you would get Extreme Wellness tortillas. There are lower calorie ones. These ones are 60 calories. The reason that I choose them is that they have a lot of fiber in them. So these have 12 grams of fiber per tortilla, and fiber keeps you more full. Another choice that I make, no, I am not sponsored by Broats, but this is Broats. This is the maple brown sugar flavor. I prefer the nutty chocolate, but figured I'd give this one a try. It's great with peanut butter. Shout out to Asil Swade for making this. It's delicious. It's not your grandma's oatmeal, as he says. And just stay away from the juices and the full calorie sodas. Diet sodas aren't great for you either, so try and stay from those. Try and stick to coffee. But at the end of the day, it's better than being obese. What's up, lads? So the final thing is you have to get proper sleep. If you don't get good sleep, nothing else that you do goes as well, to put it the best. So your workouts will be shit. You're gonna be hungry all day. You're cooked. Thanks for chiming in, Dave. But anyways, for dinner tonight, the lovely woman over there made chorizo quesadillas and Mexican rice. So I'm gonna chill and enjoy this and then go get some sleep. I will see you guys in the next video.